checked out on command after a while. So I propose that we invite you, because you are the master of all things KW. And
The master.
the master. So if you could kind of walk us through, maybe not trainings you've done before, or can certainly incorporate, but what would be the best approach for getting those touches set up in command, and then also being alerted like what to do, you know? So if they're doing DT, D2 or DT, D4, all those sort of things. And anything you guys want to know, just ask Rachel. So.
Well, then we will go over the SmartPlans and campaigns that we set for today. Okay.
I really just so short too. And here comes
SmartPlans today, campaigns on Wednesday.
That's right. Okay. So for SmartPlans, it's the little list icon kind of over here on the left. Third one down. So if you click on that, so the beauty about SmartPlans is you have the capability to have a lot of automation in these, whereas you kind of set it and then add your people and you forget it. And then and there are things in there like emails that are automatic. You have texting capabilities, which can be automatic.
Okay.
If you have Twilio.
We had a question about that.
Yeah, so now with the new command app, can we show it so it's a text from our phones, or is it still have to be through Twilio?
So for the SmartPlan, it would still technically have to be through Twilio. Your other option would be to set up a, instead of it being a text automation, you would just create a task and it would notify you on the app and you would be able to text them from your phone yourself, because you'd be able to copy and paste like whatever's in there, but you would still have to, it wouldn't be automatic. You would still have to physically text it.
Okay,
Does that
so
make sense?
yeah, so we still have to use the Twilio account, so it's probably better
automatic.
just to set it up on the computer versus trying to use the app to set it up, if we're gonna
Yes.
send bulk text.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Because if
right.
you send bulk text from your phone, everyone will be in that group, just forewarning. So you have the email functionality, the text functionality, which those can be completely automated if you choose to use Twilio. You can create tasks for yourself, which will show up on your task dashboard. That'll show up on the app and allow you accessibility to do whatever you need to, whether that's a phone call, if you want to send them a text message manually, if you need to mail them like a card or a postcard, anything like that, anything that you want it to remind you to do, it can. It can also automatically enroll them into other SmartPlans. So if it's a SmartPlan, say, the DTD2 or something like that, so SmartPlans only go for 90 days. So after that, you can make it automatically enroll into the next 90 days. So you can set up essentially 4 SmartPlans and be automatically reaching out to your database for an entire year.
So with that being said, so let's say we do the 90-day smart plan, whatever it is, and then at the end of the smart plan, we can make it a command that says, start this smart plan? Okay.
Yeah. So on the smart plans that are the monthly or bi-weekly updates, are those only 90 days too?
Like the neighborhood nurture.
Yeah.
So some of them you can also repeat indefinitely. So like the monthly neighborhood nurture would go on forever until you take them off. So they do have the capability to repeat. I think it's up to 4 or 6 times, and then you have the indefinite option, meaning it will go forever until you take them off of it or you stop it. So that is an option as well. Yes, unless they unsubscribe. Yeah.
And so the notion of it just being 90 days is so we're remaining relevant. Is that kind of the whole point?
Right. Yeah. And so that if you're not, they're getting a response from them for engagement, does that mean you need to really make a phone call or, change up what you're saying or doing to them? The nice thing about Command is you can now see analytics of your emails from SmartPlans or email campaigns, and that means you can see if they opened them, if they clicked on them, if they've responded to them, if it was delivered to them, if they've unsubscribed, marked as spam, all that you can see now.
Can we see an example of
Yeah.
that and how to?
Where would you look
So
for
you would
that?
find this in reports. And the email option at the top.
Where's that?
Oh.
Right here, at the very top?
Yep.
That is.
Nice.
And then, so these are the emails I have sent. So 92.3% of them have been delivered. So if I click on view details, it's going to give me the email address, what application, which this is SmartPlans. I don't know why it says other, but then it gives me the email subject, so I know which email it was. And then you
Tell
just
you
go
which
through.
ones weren't delivered?
So the undelivered,
Oh, so you
so
can,
it doesn't tell me why it was undelivered, but that would prompt me to say that it's a bad email address.
would it come back to you, if they blocked you, would it come back to that, or?
It would be unsubscribed, and then you have your spam down here.
So can you see who looked at it?
Yeah, so opened would be who looked at it. You can see all of them. Clicked, if they clicked on anything, it would be there. Replies, which you would get in your KW email. And then if they've unsubscribed, then it would show up here. So you have all those now, and then with the spam, you can also see who has marked you as spam down here at the bottom. So that is super helpful. And then with the email campaigns, which we'll get into, it's also within the email campaigns application. So you can see it specific to that email campaign. You don't have to see the whole list.
So Rachel, do they have like a guide for best practices for agents to follow? So for example, if you're showing up, if somebody marked you as spam, best practice would likely be to remove them so you're not ending up on spam lists, or?
There is a ton of recommendations in the editor of the SmartPlans. On the far right bottom hand corner, it tells you kind of what you should and shouldn't be doing and how many. I don't know if it says anything for the text messages, but just so you're aware, if you do have Twilio, if you text more than 200 people in one day, the carriers like Verizon and T-Mobile are likely to ban your phone number as like spam. So just be
So
mindful
you
of
can't
that.
even call them?
You can call them. It's the automated text messaging is what
So you want
can
to keep it below
keep it below
200.
200 in a day. And SmartPlans do have the option for you to set up to stagger. So if you have 500 people on a SmartPlan, you're only gonna, so you start it today. So I'm gonna set it up for 10 people today, then it'll do the next 10 people tomorrow, and so on and so forth. That prevents that. And that also, if they respond or if you have a task, that's like a phone call that only sets you up for 10 people for that day and not all 500. So it makes it
All these
most
200
nights.
people.
Right. Yeah, you don't want 500 tasks or 200 tasks pop up in one day because it can be overwhelming. So just those little tips and tricks will help you. So I'll go into the SmartPlan just to kind of show you all of that stuff real quick, and then we'll go into the library because that is where life makes so much more sense. So if I'm wanting to edit one, I already have, these are my SmartPlans I've already downloaded. So I just click on the little pencil to edit those. And any of the ones you download from the library that are already pre-made, you can edit them yourself. You can tweak it. And even if you love everything about it, always double check the grammar,
they
spelling,
put names in
punctuation.
it?
And Lisa knows her
Yeah, I know firsthand. Somebody named Kevin got a lot of my first, Facebook SmartPlans. Quite a shock.
Okay.
So down here, if you scroll down under the actions, here is all the tips and rules for all of those. So that will help you. The compliance and best practices are right here. I'm sure there's a lot more detailed than what's there, but if you just want to start somewhere just to see what all the tips are before you create your own, or
The same regardless of.
Yeah.
plan?
yeah, that is there no matter what smart plan you have. So those are all the functionality options within a smart plan. The task, the make a call, which will create a task for you, And now with the mobile app, you can pull up your task, literally click call, their number will pop up at the bottom, you click it, and then you call them right from your cell phone. So that makes it really easy. And then when you hang up, it will go back to the command app and ask you if you want to add that activity to their timeline. So for like documenting purposes of your conversations, no matter which feature, email, text, or phone call within the app, it shows up.
Send a thank you for that.
Yeah, so call, email, text message, delay, which you want to make sure you're setting delays. If you are building your own, the delays is how you break up from day one to day whatever the next touch is. If not, if you don't have delays in between each touch, then it all on day one. So
You will stand.
yes. And then add another smart plan and restart. So another cool thing about smart plans is they have trigger events. So what this is when you tag, so you associate a tag to this specific smart plan, whichever one it has to already be created. Once you tag somebody in your database with that tag, it automatically enrolls them into this smart plan specifically.
So that's my Facebook leads. So when the Facebook lead comes in, it automatically triggers the smart plan.
Mhm.
And I think there's a way to do it with campaigns,
Yes.
right? I think you go in through
With the
campaigns.
Facebook ads, yes, but not with the email campaigns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I have a open house follow-up plan, smart plan set up, and I put somebody into command and have my open house tag, it's gonna,
Yeah, it'll
for
automatically
90 days.
Nice.
or however long your smart plan is. Yeah. There's a lot of times, like for those instances I have seen with other agents, they'll do like an open house follow-up smart plan. And if they have not engaged with that, they just automatically put them in like the monthly neighborhood nurture or something like that. And even if you don't have their address, they're obviously looking in that specific neighborhood. So you could set them up on that neighborhood if that was something that interests them. So things like that you can kind of ease into. That way you're putting them on a drip campaign still. You're still reaching out to them at least monthly as an option. So, no.
So I know I'm probably getting in the weeds, like, does anybody want to see like the steps of how to do that? Because I just have not been in command that. Do you guys know how to do it? Because I don't want to take up valuable time.
Let's do it.
I have, it's always good to refresh.
Yeah. So do we want to look at the library first?
Sure.
Kind of see what's in there. And so Command has a smart plan library, which has oodles and oodles and oodles of different smart plans in there. They categorize some of them, feature the ones made by KW, top rated ones, which either so many agents are using or so many people have reviewed them. What's new? These are brand new, newly published smart plans. So those are all just quick access links of them. And then you have the search capability at top that you can literally almost anything you can possibly think of. It's
Like
very
veterans
square. Yeah.
Just type it in.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there are,
That's really handy if you know somebody's served.
and then so you're gonna, if you want to look at this before you download it, you're just gonna click on view steps at the bottom left. And then, well, this one's only one day, but then you just hover over whatever the step is and it'll tell you what it says. So this one just says, and that where it says contact first name, that's called a merge field. And that just automatically puts in the first name of your contact, whoever you add to that, just so it looks more personal. And it says, thank you so much for serving our country the way you did. I'm proud to know you. You may not think of yourself like this, but to me, you're a real hero. And then it puts the agent's name. So essentially you could make that an email, text message, you know, you have the capability of changing it, but say this is a smart plan we liked. Then we're just going to do add smart plan. And then it wants you to name it. By default, it just puts the word my in front of whatever the original name is. But if you want it to be anything else, you can change it. Otherwise, you can just hit download. X out of that, it says it's success. You're just going to go back to your smart plans. and it will be the one at the top because it filters by created date.
Okay, so let's say we send those this year. Do we have to go in and resubscribe them for the following year? It's not gonna just automatically do it every year, is that right?
Correct. Yep, there are only a few that are automated in forever, and those are the KW ones. Just because the coding that has to go on the back end for it to do that is not capable for people who just, for the ones that are published in there.
Is there a way to, we set up the neighborhood nurture, but I've added quite a few since then, but haven't added it to the neighborhood nurture. So is there a way for those to, be highlighted or something so that I know that they need to be added to the search? Or do I just need to go through?
I believe you can bulk add them to this smart plan. You could filter by
From date,
created date
yeah, created date
in
to now,
contacts
to now.
and then add them that way. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you do the tagging.
Oh, yeah,
Which you can add, I believe, up to 10 tags to the same smart plan. So if you have, even if it's buyer, seller, met, unmet, whatever
Right.
your tags are, you can, something like the monthly neighborhood nurture that literally anybody could be on, you can add up to 10 tags to that same. So anytime you're adding to your database, you're tagging them, they're just automatically going.
okay.
So that would be I would think the easiest way to do that.
Mhm.
So the earliest you can schedule these is 90 days in advance.
I think you can do up to a year in advance.
Okay, so once it goes, you can go back in and schedule for next year. I'm just trying to figure out from a planning perspective, because I feel like we get in this world of, once we did it, it should be done forever.
Right.
Even though we shouldn't be, we know that, but how do we know? Is there a memory jog? Like last year, you ran the Veterans Day. Do you want to run it again? Do you get any notifications like that?
Maybe we could set a
No,
task
unfortunately.
after it runs, set up a task. Reset.
Yeah, you could set up a task for you to do that. 'Cause
That's
you
the
can
only
do
way I
that for
remember
a year out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set up a task by like November 1st.
Yeah, you definitely could do that. That would be probably the easiest way, because there unfortunately isn't any automation like, hey, you did this at this time last year, do you want to do it again? So that's a great idea though.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will remind them to do that, but that would only make sense.
Right.
Or
agree.
you're 90 days out, hey, last year you ran this.
Mhm.
It would be really helpful.
For
It
sure.
would get people, again, I think the whole goal is to get people funneled back into command, because so many
Right.
people kind of checked out.
I agree.
And can you tell us like who you feel is using command and smart plans at a really high level here in our market center?
I know Jamie is very heavy in
Mhm.
command. Katie Klein does a lot of smart plans.
Mhm.
I think off the top of my head, those are the two that stand out to me the most.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So once you have, again, your smart plan downloaded, you go in and edit it. So you just click on that little pencil.
Can you create your own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're back in the home screen, there's a create button up here.
Okay.
So if you like this, preview it. The merge fields, how you know that they're live is if they're this teal or blue, green color, whatever you want to identify the color as. If they're black, just make sure you delete them, and then you can add the merge fields right here. You just click on it and it'll go at the end. Where did you click? Right here, this little
Oh, okay.
drop down, and then you just choose which one. And based on what type of task you're creating, whether it's a phone call, an email, or a text message, they'll have different options for merge fields. Some have more than others. I think the email has a lot more than like a text message. But so if you're seeing one in one place and not the other, like the app link, you'll see that in the text message in the email option, but you're not going to see that in the phone option, just because that's not realistic for a phone conversation.
And it's our app,
Yeah, it'll put your app link in there.
Just check.
Yes, yes, it will.
No, it's a dumb question, but
No, it's fair. So if you would want to set up, anything extra on top of this, you can go right over here and you just click on them. So I would want to set a delay would be the first thing that happens after any task, unless you want it to go out on the same day. So you just click on set delay and it goes to the bottom by default. And then how many days in between. So if I say 3 days or 2 days, whatever, and then I'm gonna make a call. So if you notice up here, it says day 4 and up here it says day 1. So that'll help you tell where it's gonna fall. And then especially if this is towards an event or something with a deadline, you really wanna watch these days and make sure that your timing is right, because you can start it on a specific date, but you cannot release it on, if that makes sense. You have to, your delay dates have to correlate with the calendar, if that makes sense. So if I'm telling somebody for something on Wednesday, day 1 needs to happen today. And then if I'm saying, hey, this is today, then day 3 would have to fall on Wednesday. So I would have to start my smart plan in according to how day 1, day 3, day 5, day 10, or falls. Does that make
Sitting
sense?
with a calendar in front of us.
Yes.
is gonna be-
Yes, if there's a deadline for something, like if it's for a client event or a specific thing that has a date that you don't want to communicate this information after it happens, obviously. So unless it's follow-up, but you just have to kind of be mindful of date you start and date how those will fall. So I have my delay and then I added the phone task. And again, you can just fill in information. There's merge fields for this as well. You free type, you can add a link if you feel like it's necessary. And then it's got the TCPA and all that stuff. Do not call down here. As far as adding triggers, so if you are creating one by yourself, like creating it from scratch, you have to add one action basically, and then hit save before this add trigger event will become live, because it requires one action before it will show up. I don't know why, but it does. So you just add on, hit save. I'm sure it's just to ensure that the system doesn't error if there's nothing there. So you do an add trigger event. The only thing you need to do is select a tag. So if I want this ABC tag, now it doesn't let you choose multiple right here unless it's up. Okay, I didn't think so. So, but you can add multiple. So I'll add ABC tag, choose trigger, confirm trigger, and then I'll go back. That way you can read them. Add new, go to the next one, confirm or choose trigger. And it says, so just to note, like it says, any contract that is already tagged with this will not be automatically enrolled. It's just from here on out, how you set it up is what will happen. So you don't have to worry about anybody previously tagged with this getting this information over again.
So if I change the name of a tag, if I have something like this set up and I go back and I change under settings the name of the tag, does it change in the? Or is it?
I'm not sure if you're able to edit them. If you want to delete the tag, it will notify you of where all that tag is associated.
Mhm. I've edited tags before, that's why.
Oh, you
'cause I
can?
used to
Okay.
have a tag for open house, and then I recently started doing open house in a year, because I
Okay.
started to have so many, and that way I can kind of remember.
Okay. I've never seen that before. My thought process would be it would update because that tag is still associated. It just has some different information in it. If that makes sense.
With your open house, do you put the date of each open house or just open house?
It was just open house, and now I have the
The
year.
year. Okay, so you don't do it.
And then usually in the contact I have
What
open
date?
house, but occasionally
Right.
I miss that, and having the year
Trying to
kind of
remember.
helps, like, and it helps me know how long I've been interacting with them.
Okay.
I did.
but I can't remember what it was because we went down another bunny track.
Sorry.
So that's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'll think of it.
So yeah, so you just add your steps as you want them until you see fit. If you want to move anything up or rearrange them, you can click the move up. And so it just basically switches whatever was above it. And if you want to move down, again, it just switches whatever was below it. If you want to delete a step, you can just hit on the X. It'll ask you to confirm. And then just hit, if you want to save kind of as you go, you can hit save. You can also hit save up here. It just saves it. It doesn't take you out of the screen. It just, but not required, but you know how technology is. So if you'd rather be safe than sorry, I don't blame you.
What's the little people head next to the save button? What's that button?
So you have the capability of adding contacts from within the edit screen or on the dashboard of SmartPlans, which is the same icon just over to the right. So once you're done with it, you like it, everything looks good, you can do add contact. And then it's going to take you to your database. So you have everybody here. You can filter by tags or you can search by a specific name. If you want to select all, just realize you're selecting 20 people at a time. So if I do select all, then I will have to go to the over arrow and select my 21 through 40, and then go over again, select 40 through 60, 41 through 60, and so on. The max capacity that you can add at a time is 500. So it will let you keep going past 500 in this screen. So just make sure you're mindful if you're doing your whole database. Once you have added your people, you can then go back, which I'll show you, in and add more. It just only lets you do 500 at a time. So if I add, I'll just do myself. So I've chosen how many people. I'll do my John Doe as well. Add to SmartPlan is what the next step would be. So then you have your three options. You can start now immediately, which will go out within a few minutes, depending on the time of day. If it's like later in the evening, it will start out the next day. There are KWRA timeframes, and I want to say it's 6 p.m. Central Time. If it's after that, which would be 7 our time, then it will start the next day. Then you have start on a following date. So if you want to choose, so this would be prevalent for the planning ahead. If you have, you know, a holiday smart plan, you can make this in July and schedule it for December or whichever you choose. I believe you can go out a year, maybe longer. Must be able to go on. Yeah, so you feel free to plan ahead. Or you can do the stagger start, which again, you can break up however many contacts you have and then stagger X amount per day, which would mean X amount of tasks would pop up per day for that smart plan and so forth. It will only allow you, obviously, if I only have 2 on this smart plan, it's only going to let me do the max 2, which, you know, is what it is. Then we hit confirm. Every single time you start a smart plan, it says the same thing. If you have Twilio, it will be automatically sent from your Twilio number. This is the name of the smart plan. You can hover over to see your steps. And then it's got the TCPA warning again. And then you can just hit confirm. And your smart plan is active. It will take you back to your dashboard. You know it is active because you can see a number under here under contacts and this little eyeball pops up. If you have a lot more people on there, say you enrolled 100 or 200, and this number may not immediately show up as that number, but just give it a minute or refresh your screen and then it will be up to whatever number you chose. Sometimes it just takes a minute for it to fully activate and send it out. So that's how you know that a smart plan is active and that you have people on it. You can click on this little eyeball here to see them. So if it was like an open house follow-up smart plan and they have responded and you want to take them off, you can just click on them in here and do confirm unsubscribe. Unsubscribe again, and then it will take them off. That keeps everybody else active on it. That keeps everything rolling on it. It just removes the person that no longer needs to be on it.
So we have to manually unsubscribe if they say stop, it doesn't do it for
If,
you.
if they say stop, it will
Okay.
automatically unsubscribe them, but I'm saying like, so for like an open house follow-up, if they engage in the questions or emails or anything that a lot of the times, like some of them, how they're set up, you don't need to keep them on it. So then that would be an instance that you could stop it early. But yes, if they do unsubscribe or something like that, it will stop the emails automatically.
Okay.
Yeah, and you won't get to my understanding, you won't get a notification in your bell that they've unsubscribed, but it will be in their timeline that they have.
And you can find it in the reports.
Right.
So one other quick question, about adding people. So like, let's say you've added your 200 or 500 or whatever, and you have to go back and add more. Does it tell you where you stopped? So you've got to pay attention.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that should be, you know,
Yeah,
telling them that there should be a way
I
to
agree. They
say
should
this time.
kind of gray out the people that are, or remove them from the list
It's
that
not
they're
have
already
as an
on.
option.
Yeah.
So I've noticed in the timelines, if I take somebody out of a smart plan, it'll say unsubscribed. Does it, if they've unsubscribed, can we tell the difference?
I don't think so. You can see that in the analytics though, if you notice somebody says unsubscribe, you're not sure if it was you or them, you can always double check in there in the reports. So if for some reason you would want to take everybody off all at once, you decide I'm ending the smart plan for good, you can do the same thing under the eyeball, just click unsubscribe all, and it will take everybody off.
That particular campaign.
Yeah.
What are some of the most popular ones that people are using?
I would think the featured ones would be, so long-term nurture, which looks like regular check-ins over 6-month span. There's the 555, post-closing follow-up, which they're all there. And I don't know how often these change. 6-month, just looking nurture, monthly call plan, buyer and seller, quick tips, stuff in there. And then these are just the featured 8. If you click see all, you can see all of the featured ones. Maybe they are just 8.
But does that mean that we're using those, or those are
Yeah, so you can see 10,000 agents are using this long
long-term?
term. Yeah, you can see how many agents are using it. And then 52 people have left reviews for this one, which averages out to 4.5 stars. So that's how you kind of see who's using what. There are filter options if you want to filter how long they are or who the specific author is. You know, if you really love Marty Miller's Smart Plans, or you found 1 or 2 that you really like and you want to search that specific author, you can, or how many touches, or if you want to filter by how many agents are using it. So those are all options for searching as well. And you can search within here author name as well. All those categories are there, same that you see down here. Yeah. Another little nice tip that I like to tell people is that if you find a smart plan that you like, that is specific to like an open house or a specific location or something like that, and you just need to tweak a few things like the property address or something like that, you can duplicate these. So you don't have to go back in and find it or remake it. So if you liked this one and wanted to use it for another house or like a new listing, you can just click on the little 3 dots over here to the far right and do copy. Or if you've created your own and you really like it, you want to share it, you can publish it to the library. It doesn't cost anything to do anything. And then you can follow your published ones on here. Kind of see how many people are using it, stuff like that. You can remove them, edit them, if that's something down the line you want to do. But as far as yours, you can duplicate them. And then the create button is up here in the top right corner. It's the exact same screen. You name it. Just use that.
If we create a good one, can we charge for it?
Not yet. I would think maybe down the road because they all say free in the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
Which makes me
Suspicious.
think that maybe down the line there might be a charge. I don't think that's very smart, but that's my opinion. But yeah, so same exact screen, you just choose whatever. And then again, if you're creating, just a reminder, you do your first one, hit save, and then that trigger event pops up.
So is one of the trigger event opportunities, could that be when we move it from looking to in contract or
It's only,
only tags?
only tags right now. On the flip, there are kind of opportunity checklists
Yeah.
that are options. So, but not fully automated yet.
So we could set a so let's say I put a buyer in contract and we could set a smart plan with all the information that goes to them. Like, here's the inspectors, here's the timeline, right?
If that information doesn't change from person to person, because once the smart plan is live, there are things you cannot edit. Do you want me to show you what you can and can't?
Yeah, that's.
Like,
Yeah.
I created an in-contract smart plan and I just did it just so I have it to copy and paste. I don't actually use it as a smart plan because the
Okay,
timeline changes.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Because
that's
you can't change
not a bad
dates each
idea.
person. So it's
Right.
like, some person I might have 5 days for inspection and one I might have like 6. I don't
So you don't really subscribe?
I don't subscribe them, but I have it, so it just uses like a template. But I feel like you can do something like that in Google too.
I have draft emails for that.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got draft
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I feel like there's another.
Yeah,
way
you
to
can
do it.
create templates within, Google, and then you can also do like the draft option. It just,
I didn't know about the templates.
so if a smart plan is live and you want to edit the smart plan, you can click on edit. There are some editing capabilities, but not everything. So these are what changes can be made. Name of the smart plan, text message, task descriptions, add or remove triggers. What cannot be changed is adding, deleting, or changing the order of the steps. So if it's timeline sensitive, definitely wouldn't recommend it. If it's like a welcome email, like this is what's happening next email, something like that, that is not necessarily timeline specific. And then it's kind of like a tips or what should be happening, blah, blah, kind of stuff you could, but if it's,
Just asking.
yeah, no, that's a good question.
How many of you guys are using these now? And how do you find it?
It's really nice. That's why I want to try to get more automated next year.
Who else? Are you?
I've used them in the past. I haven't been real good at keeping up with it this year, but I had an open house follow-up. And I set up last year this time. Honestly, I don't know if it actually, I think I had the tag trigger, so I don't know what's.
So it seems like it would be kind of, I don't know, for anybody who needs accountability, which I would be first in that group, like to schedule a time just to even like have just a workshop where we're just kind of sitting down and tagging or doing whatever we need to. If anybody wants that, let me know,
Yeah.
because it would allow me to.
Maybe,
do
yeah,
it
I think it'd
also.
be a good idea.
I think that is smart plans in a nutshell. I can't think of anything else to add or anything I'm missing that you feel like we need to know.
Jerry could just provide an individual for each of us to do
Right.
this stuff, it would be amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Totally agree.
So when you do an email within one, is there a way that you could pull like an email you created in commands? You know what I mean? Like you created an email design
Yes.
and then you could pull that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did we already do that?
No, that's fine. No, that's a good question. So if you want to add an email, you can do a simple email, which is just text and links, or you can do a design email, which is what I call pretty emails with all the photos, the videos, the the pretty links and all that stuff, so. Which kind of falls into email campaigns too, but you have the capability of doing it in a smart plan.
Like I want to do happy birthday. for all my
So if you want to do
kids.
email,
I remind you.
There is a smart plan for that.
yeah,
Yeah, but I don't remember if the email's already in it.
I don't think there's an email, but you can add it. There's, it texts and then it sets up a task for you to do a social post, do a text to them.
so you have the simple option, which again is just the text and links, and then you have the designs option. If you click designs, it'll have you select one. There's the KWRI templates and then my design templates. So if you've created one in designs already, you can use that. Just pull it up and kind of go from there. So I'll just use this one because it's already made. Got it. It will give you the editing capability, but this just to show you, this is a video. You have the merge field capability, so it still is, you know, specialized. This all looks broken, but it's not. These are all things that pull in automatically. So if you click on this little eyeball, it'll give you the preview of what it would look like. Again, this will not say contact person name, it will say their name, but because this is a broken ended link, basically, because it doesn't have anybody associated, is why it looks like that. But it gives you all that. And then you can send yourself a test email as well before it goes live. Click on all the links, click your video, make sure everything works, and then you're good to send it.
So if you send a test email, do you send it to your home email or can you?
You send it to wherever you want it to be, once you type it in.
So I could just send it to my KW.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, you can send it to anybody
I
or
did
any
it backwards, but
yeah.
So how do you, I don't know if we want to do this today, if we can set up another time. But do you have to have a pre-recorded video to add to the design email like that, or?
Yes. Yeah, if they don't have like video options, you would put in a URL. So it would have to be uploaded to YouTube, or if you use BombBomb, you would have to have it linked somewhere. Which YouTube's free. I don't know if BombBomb's free or not, but
You can get a free extension.
okay. So it is an extra step, and then you do have to put a picture for the thumbnail, otherwise it'll be gray. Because when I click on it, it will take them to YouTube or BombBomb to watch the video. It doesn't stay within the email, unfortunately. Yeah, but we'll get into the details of those when we go through campaigns. But you do have the capability of putting those in SmartPlans.
Wish there was an easier way to see all those email designs instead of having to like click on every single.
Yeah.
I wish you could hover like the other stuff and be
It's-
able to just preview it.
Yeah,
It's not real navigatable, like,
right.
you click on one, you don't, it like takes you out of command or something, so there's no like easy way to go back that I found. Like, I get,
Yeah, if you just hit save and exit, it'll go back, or just click on the X in the top right. It'll ask you if you just sure you want to exit it, yes, and it'll take you back. But for some reason, they have not uploaded those images yet for the template so you can see them. But if you do for yours, I would always just strongly recommend you put the name, like make it so it makes sense to you, the name of the campaign for any that you create or your designs.
Rachel, when we get text from the Market Center, that's coming from command through Twilio. No?
No, it comes from Zipflip. Yes, it's a whole other software. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Because I wanted to know how it says Keller Williams in the
Yeah.
name. That's the only thing I don't really love about Twilio is it's not my number, so it won't be recognized. Is that why you use Zipwhip?
It was here when I got here,
Okay.
so I'm not sure. I don't know what the legality is for having, because I know there's a lot of blowback about not using your own phone number, which is rightfully so. But I know there are, I don't know if it's because it's including with sales and stuff like that legally that they're not allowed to mask your number to it. I don't know the 100% details. I can get more from Josh Boatman, a little more clarification on that. But I don't know if it's because of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act or one of those things that it cannot be your number if it's not coming, if it's like an automated system like Twilio.
I just always put my name at the bottom. Like if I do
Yeah.
a smart plan with
Yeah.
a text,
Yeah.
like happy Thanksgiving, blah, blah, then it always just has like a line, that says like Katie Gunzel, and I put KW.
Yeah. My recommendations for agents who use Twilio is the first text message that should go out to anybody that you plan on putting on a smart plan or sending a text message from, is to say, hey, this is so-and-so, this is my business
Like office,
number or
yeah.
office number. If you have, please add this to your contacts as an alternative number, because even if they happen to call your Twilio number, it will tell you on command. So you can quickly call them back, say, hey, I'm so sorry I missed your call, like make it play it off.
I get
Um,
calls from, I get a call. It says,
Do you have the call forwarding?
I must, because,
Does it forward to your phone?
yeah.
Okay. you might
So
set it
that
up.
will call forward.
Yes,
I-
it will. It does
Gotcha.
charge you credits for like 3 credits
I
every
have a
minute.
lot of credits.
Okay.
stacked
You
up,
do have
so-
the call forwarding option. It will forward to you. If they are in your contacts, it will show up as a contact. Like it doesn't really, it's very seamless for the person on the other end of the line, and it's seamless for you. Like it will prompt you and tell you that this call was forwarded from Twilio, but they don't hear that. They just think you're calling through. And it will recognize it's like they're in your data or in your contacts in your phone.
And there is a delay, so be careful, because one time I kept saying, hello, hello, hello. It's like, oh gosh, is that any way to answer the phone? No, I'm sorry, I was just saying hello for 5 minutes and nobody.
Yeah, it'll tell you it's forwarding, and then there'll be a brief pause. Well, come on.
Just note of caution.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, there is a call forwarding option. You do have to set it up. But it will notify you in command if somebody does try to call your phone if you don't have a call forwarding. It'll just tell you the phone number that tried to call you. You can go into contacts and type it in, and it'll pull up the contact.
Okay.
So there is a searchable way to find that. But I know there's legal reasons why they won't mask your phone number. They're just not 100% on the details of that.
It's okay. And I'm glad to know that there's the forwarding, and it's actually a good reason for a touch if you intend to use Twilio out of command. To have that extra number is actually kind of nice.
But I always recommend if you do sign up for Twilio, your first text message should be announcing who you are. This is my business or office line. Just add it to that way they're not deleting your phone number thinking you have a new number. And also with that first text message from Twilio, it will automatically ask them if they want to unsubscribe from it, just to CYA. But that way when it's happening, if they're not expecting an unknown number to text them or something like that, and that comes right after it, they're more likely to unsubscribe. So I hear agents on calls all the time. They're like, my own family members are unsubscribing. I'm like, well, we don't know it's you. So it's
So-
just kind of, you're more inclined to unsubscribe if you have no clue who it is. So that's just that first. And you can make it a smart plan of a one-step text message saying, hey, this is who this is. Save my number for any future communications we have. That's the easiest way to go about that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When people are getting these leads, are anybody getting anything from these leads? Because I'll start to call leads from Keller Williams.
Like Facebook, when you run an ad,
Yeah.
those things.
I've never had any of them pan out.
I, me too. I was just curious.
They're typically very cold leads.
Yeah,
They
Cold.
say on average they're like
frozen.
6 months to a year before they
Yeah,
move from like a cold lead status.
yeah. Okay, I was just checking.
Are you recording this and are you gonna do Wednesdays as well? 'Cause I won't be here.
Go record and share.
Yeah. This Wednesday.
Any other questions?
No, it's great, Rachel. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that is new, like in the past couple of months, that for people who've been a little more engaged with SmartPlans, that would be helpful to know?
Nothing really new smart plan wise. I want to see if there's bulk.
I think there are.
I feel like you can bulk add
Yeah.
things now. People to smart plans is what I'm saying. So if you happen to be in your database, you want, oh my goodness. Yes, discard. If you want to add multiple people and be able to filter by like last created date, stuff like that, that you can't really filter it through in Smart Plans itself. So if you do a bulk action, yeah, add to Smart Plan. So say you do filter created within the last 10 days, 30 days. No, I'll do 90 days because I don't know the last time I added somebody to mine. So there we go. So then you could do just select all or however many. I want of 10. I'm going to change that to 25 so I get all 13 of them. And then just this little square is select all, and then your bulk action and add to Smart Plan. Just make sure again that your Smart Plan is ready to go. Then you would select it and it would take you through the steps. I don't want to add them,
But then you have to go through that anyway and put it, create a tag for each one of them and, you know,
so the
Well, they
alternative for that would be to bulk tag them.
Yeah.
And then it would, if you have that tag
Or
trigger,
tag.
it would automatically enroll them.
okay,
So if you go into created date within the last, 6 months, 5 months,
right,
3
right,
months,
right.
you select all of them, select bulk action, add tag. If you have that tag trigger set up, then you could add the tag, submit, and then it would automatically tag them all, which would thus then automatically enroll them in all of it. So either or would work. If that tag trigger is set up, you could do the tags. Trying to think if there's anything else really relevant.
The bulk tagging is handy. I didn't know that that was an option.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Yeah, I
know
did
that?
the
Yeah.
DT.
Yeah.
Through that, because I was like.
There are a lot of
and
bulk.
Then I just pull up the.
Their last name and.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I just have to remember to tag them as I add them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Follow
you
up
gotta
after
do.
that
And
will
that
be-
might be, like even as we talk about schedules and planning, if you're picking an hour or 2 hours a week that you're just kind of focusing on your database admin, that, because it's hard, you add somebody and you forget, if you just block that time and know that you can go back and kind of get those things tidied up.
Workshop where we're all together with our laptops and
Right,
doing that kind of thing. I found people that I didn't tag for whatever reason. It's really easy when you're looking at context, like you see,
Mhm.
you
You
can
can
hand
even,
down and if you have a couple of tags on everybody, then that one person jumps out.
Stands
at you.
out.
yeah,
Can you sort by tags?
yes. Not up here, but in filters, you can choose specific tags.
I don't think
So you can't see I just want to
You
see my
can't.
whole list based on how I have them tagged,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not an option.
Yeah, no. Yeah, there's some of these things that you can like choose by recently active or not, but tags is not one of them. So if you wanted to like see who doesn't have a tag
that
on
would
them.
be handy. So can you do it by email to see who you're missing emails?
Mhm. Yeah, anything with a caret that kind of pops up to the right of it, you can. For some reason, tags is like the only one you cannot. Owner you can't, and assignee you cannot.
do you take those leads out of your database? Is the ones from
Oh,
Facebook?
yeah. I
Okay,
know, yeah.
I've been deleting them from like I started Facebook ads when they were like new.
Yeah.
It's 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I look at my timeline, like we've not connected in 2
Yeah.
years, like.
Yeah, just get rid of them, get rid of them.
Well, and a lot of them are like phone number bad, so I have his email.
Oh,
So then you're really limited on trying to get them.
So many of them are not, and then I'm looking them up on the white pages and all the.
Yeah, I think that looking them up and getting data on them is really only valuable if you know the people, right? Like you've met them, you've had a conversation, but if they're just a cold lead, I'll take it.
Out there. Okay. Not a problem.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much.
Thank
Do you guys
you.
have any other last questions for Rachel